All right, well, I appreciate you stopping to talk. Do you want to start by introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Allison.
Allison. Okay, Brandon, nice talking to you.
Nice to meet you.
So I guess where I usually start, I'm going to define veganism, and then you tell me what you disagree with, all right?
All right,
So veganism is an ideology that rejects the commodification of animals. So that means you don't want to use them, abuse them, or kill them for food, clothing, entertainment, or anything else. So what about that definition do you disagree with?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I feel like, can I be honest? Because I'm not vegan,
Okay.
but there are certain meats and things that I won't eat
Okay.
because of how the animals are treated.
Okay, can you give me an example of some of those?
Like I don't eat anything that's pork, anything that's related to pig.
Okay. No pig.
Personally, don't like anything like that.
Is it a religious thing or just
No.
just how they're treated? Okay. So what I would argue is, if you can recognize that animals are, when I say animals, I mean sentient animals, which are the animals we eat. They can feel pain, feel joy. They have their own experience. So if you can recognize that animals deserve, because you'd be surprised, some of the people I talk to, they think animals deserve nothing, right? So if you can recognize that animals deserve being treated well and deserve the moral consideration, right? I guess what is your justification for contributing to the death of billions of other sentient animals?
To me, it's kind of like, how do you say it? It's like the way of life.
Circle of life?
The circle of life, yeah. It's like, I mean, in the wild, if animals eat other animals, we're technically animals, we're mammals, so why couldn't we? Is it wrong for us to, like, breed them and, like, put all these hormones to get them, like, produce more and more and more? Yeah, but to actually do it, like, the correct way, and I mean, I'm not the one who's actually, like, researching if it was done the correct way,
Sure.
but if it's done the correct way and no harm is to the animals, I don't see. Well, obviously harm is going to be done, but if they're not, like, tortured in the process beforehand,
Right.
I don't think. To me, I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, I mean, I don't want to get eaten.
Well, so we could definitely go into it, but I understand where you're coming from, right? Like, you are at a point where you understand that prolonged suffering or prolonged torture or torture outside of or suffering outside of just ending a life is immoral, right? So you can recognize that, right? What I would argue is, like, separate from the pigs that you don't eat, cows, chickens, the dairy industry, egg industry, all of those industries entail prolonged suffering and unnecessary torture, right? Whether it's the cows getting their babies taken away and those babies being put into slaughter right away, whether it's the cages, whether it's how in the egg industry, baby chicks, if they're male, they're put into a blender alive or they're suffocated alive because they're useless to the egg industry. So when we look at the industry, forget about the morality of killing for a second. When we look at the industrial practices, I would say that by choosing those products, you're still kind of going against your own moral position there, right? But when it comes to the cycle of life, right? You're right? So other animals do eat each other, right? Or carnivorous animals, at least. But other animals also do a lot of other things, right? So they kill their own young, they rape each other, they shit outside. They do a lot of awful things that we've chosen to get away from. I find that when talking to people who do eat meat or eat animal products, a lot of times they appeal to nature, appeal to what lions do, but only one thing that lions do, and they kind of leave out the rest, right? So, like, I would say that just because an animal rapes another animal and that's normal in their world, I wouldn't say that's moral, even in their situation. And I would argue that in the human context, we actually have the moral agency to be able to decide not to participate in that action. So same thing with animal products. Yeah, I could talk to you guys in a second. Same thing with animal products, or with the consumption of animal products. There's nothing in animal products that are needed for our survival, right? We can thrive and survive on plant-based foods. So in that case, we're strictly doing it because we want to, not because there's any type of necessity, unlike in the case of a lion. But either way, I would say it's immoral. And then you also mentioned you actually addressed your own point where you said psycho-life, but then you said the breeding. So yeah, over 95% of animal products are not natural. It's not the psycho-life. We breed those animal products into existence just to kill them prematurely. And what I would say is, I just want to address all your points. You mentioned the correct way or the humane way or whatever. Then you said you wouldn't want to die yourself, right?
Yeah, I did.
So when I talk to people, they say, well, it's fine if it's done humanely. But my argument or my question would be, do you think that there is a humane way to end the life of a sentient animal prematurely, including humans, when they don't want to die?
No. No. And I hear all of your points. I do. But for me personally, I'm still going to eat chicken. Like, to me, I hear all your points. I understand your point of view and why you feel that way, and I agree. But to me, I'm still going to eat it.
And look, when it comes to you still eating, right, obviously after this conversation, it's your choice to make, right? Because the society we live in, as of now, still the vast majority still support animal agriculture, still want to eat animal products, right? So obviously the choice is still there, right? But I just want to make a parallel, right? Because what you're basically saying, right, if you say you agree with me and you understand the points, right? Yeah. But then you say you're going to continue doing the action anyway, take that into any other injustice or any other immoral action, right? So let's say
Well, people have wrong morals and still do things. You know what I mean? I'm sure they can recognize, yeah, this is probably wrong, but I'm still going to do it.
Can you give me an example?
I don't know, stealing. Okay. That's morally wrong, yeah. You may need it for whatever reason.
Can you give me an example where it's not done out of necessity?
Not out of necessity.
Because as we agreed, animal products, it's not
a necessity. To eat meat is not a necessity, but some people have to. You know what I mean?
Sure. I would say that in maybe in certain parts of the world, it's either eat what you can hunt or gather, or not.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, take your time. No problem.